Good morning and welcome to SimWorld today, Thursday, September 5th edition. A thank you from myself to all who, one, to the SimWorld team to fill in during my absence, two, to all the well wishes that came my way. We're ringed up, baby, so I am very excited. But thank you to all that reached out. And in the spirit of weddings, happy anniversary to my parents who just celebrated, I think, 37 or something like that today. So yeah, that's what's going on. I'm Marsh, joined this morning by Jason Candell. JK, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Marsh. It's nice to have you back on the show. Welcome back. Congratulations on the nuptials, and congratulations to your parents. I see love is in the air for the Marsh family.
Love is in the well. Let's Marsh family is not what I think we need to be calling my family. We've got plenty to get to, so let's dive right in. Let's start with SWFL, where we are kickoff day, the celebrated holiday in the football universe begins tonight. Chiefs Ravens kicking things off, but the fascinating part of this season appears to be the love that everybody wants to give to the Detroit Lions. So, JK, I'm curious your thoughts. The Lions, are we maybe overstepping a team that currently has plus 550 odds to win the NFC and plus 1200 odds, which would be fourth best or fifth best odds in the SWFL?
I'm a little bit conflicted on this one, Marsh. I'm in the state of Michigan. I've definitely seen the Kool-Aid be drank by these people. People thought because they made the NFC Championship last year, or that a Super Bowl is on the horizon. Lions have never made one, so expectations are high. But the Lions have a competitive roster. Bringing back Ben Johnson after he was taking a look at head coaching jobs is huge. Signing Kevin Zeitler to replace Jonah Jackson, really good move. Drafting Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw, another move that I really like by Brad Holmes. And I think that this is the year we finally see Jamison Williams be the receiver everybody thought he was going to be. I think Jamison Williams will not, may not go for 1,000 yards, but I think he will be very close to it. He's going to establish himself as that 1B behind Amon-Ra St. Brown in that offense. I love the two back duo of Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I really like what Jared Goff has done within the confines of this Detroit system. I love Sam Laporta's rookie breakout season. I think that this team, if the defense can kind of liven up a bit and the secondary can kind of hone in on some stuff, I think a Super Bowl is well within their aspirations this season. This Lions team is competitive enough to have what it takes. My only concern about them is will they be able to fend off Green Bay in their division?
Sounds like there was a lot of, for being a guy that's conflicted, there was a hell of a lot of positives over there. So maybe the Kool-Aid has seeped its way into your cup as well. But here's this is always my opinion with when we determine who has the best odds for championships. We default to saying, well, the team that just won is going to be the team most likely to win again because we've just been proven that they are the best team, whether that was 6 months ago, 2 months ago, whatever it may be. So, unsurprisingly, you've got Chiefs and 49ers at the top of most people's odds list. But outside of this recent run by the Chiefs, we don't see a lot of repeats. And really, you don't want to take odds in the form of being impacted by previous years. But history tells us more often than not, much more often than not, we do not see a team repeat. So if you look through who's that next list of contenders, that next list of teams that we think could be a potential champion, regardless of the sport, you start looking around. And I think there's some semblance that the Lions and their history is getting in the way of a belief that they can win a championship. Now, that's clearly not being true from a betting standpoint because there's a lot of people out there that are very high on the Lions. But in general, we look at teams and we say, well, this is who we've considered them to always be, therefore that's what they're going to be in the future. Let's take the Boston Celtics as a great example in the SWBA. They were, for the longest time, a team that people just figured, well, they're going to cave in the playoffs. And we talked about it plenty on this show throughout the regular season. Last year's team was different. Now, were they going to be runaway favorites? There was plenty of hurdles they had to get through to get to the ultimate championship. But they, just because they had caved in the past, they were such a young team that they eventually they were going to figure it out. And I think the Lions are poised to be in that situation. If you look at this next tier of groups, the Eagles, I'm very skeptical of, not necessarily because of a talent level, but because you just don't know what they're going to get out of this head coach quarterback relationship. It's not really the recipe for a Super Bowl team. The Ravens could certainly get there, and they've added nice pieces to the running game. But the Lions, you mentioned the Packers. I think there's a long list of teams right now that are falling into that. We are ready to step in, and while the Chiefs, I assume, are going to be very good, I think we're looking at a Patriots-era Chiefs dominance where they're in the AFC Championship game, they're getting first-round buys, but just pencil them in to a Super Bowl, to me, feels a little skeptical. And if I'm looking at the best next group of teams, the Lions, to me, JK, make a ton of sense for all the items you laid out, plus the fact that this is just a team with a ton of talent up and down the roster.
Absolutely. I am a big believer in that young talent will always prevail. Those young, explosive, fun offenses always find their way into regular season and postseason success. So I think that kind of bodes well not only for Detroit, but for Green Bay as well.
That will certainly be an interesting one for Green Bay, yes. Let's also think about the Cincinnati Bengals, who have some good-ish news, if you will. Jamar Chase returning to practice ahead of their season opener. He had been a sporadic attendee and a very infrequent participant in practices for the Bengals. He is back practicing ahead of the season opener. He has been dealing with the desire for a longer-term contract. So, JK, how does this fare now for both the Bengals, but also Chase and his long-term prospects of getting the deal that he wants, in your thoughts?
It's a deal you got to give him anyway. Like, Joe Burrow wants him there. You decide not to pay T. Higgins, that kind of makes sense. Jamar Chase is one of the league's best receivers. It's very rare that you let a guy like that leave in free agency, especially with the quarterback-receiver rapport going on in Cincinnati. I think that Jamar Chase deserves every penny of what he's asking for. I think he will end up getting it. I think the fact that he's suiting up at practice means that something is close and that something will end up happening, I'd say, in the next couple of days. I expect him to play on Sunday. I'm hoping he will, maybe as a Jamar Chase fantasy owner, but that's neither here nor there. I think that this is saga starting to come to an end. I think he saw CeeDee Lamb get paid. He saw Brandon Ayuk get paid. Realized that he's going to get his money, and that as the season's starting, that his team's going to need him more, and that he wants to set a good example, maybe in pursuit of that contract.
Well, I think I've always been I'm on the player's side, so I'll real quick say this. I find this a little odd that with 2 years remaining, we're going the holdout route. I don't love that. I think that's a slippery slope to just, do we start holding out the day after we sign a contract? But that's neither here nor there, because he better have practiced today, because if he planned on playing week 1, it's going to be very hard to get into game shape for Sunday without having done anything on a football field with his team throughout preseason. What does this mean for the Bengals? This means that there's still a little bit of a cloud over their heads. To your point, I think he's going to get paid, whether that's today, tomorrow, 2 weeks from now. Jamar Chase is going to get paid the money that he wants, because that's kind of how these things typically work out in the new version of the SWFL. It's not how it worked out 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, but it is now. But they need him, because as good as T. Higgins is, this team is not a Super Bowl contender without two guys, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow had a very up and down season last year because of injuries. They need him to remain healthy. I know at one point in training camp he was struggling to practice 3 days in a row because of the wrist injury, but they need their two best players available and fully bought in. And I'm not questioning whether Jamar Chase is fully bought in for this team. I think he obviously is, because he wants to get both his money but also win Super Bowls, win games, and being out there right now means that that's of the importance of his mind. But they need both of these guys in this roster, in the starting lineup, if they want to be even remotely competitive in the AFC North, with very good Baltimore Ravens, with a potentially good Pittsburgh Steelers, and what should be I shouldn't say potentially good, maybe potentially mediocre Pittsburgh Steelers, and potentially good Cleveland Browns. That division's tough. And if they don't have Chase fully bought in, fully locked in, along with a healthy Burrow, this team's just not going to be successful whatsoever. was a necessary step for them, and they're moving in the right direction. Oh, you
I
were going to
agree
jump
with
in there.
that.
Sorry, JK. Let's shift over to SimWorld U, where we've got a guest coming up in just 1 second. But before we do that, wanted to look around. We've been doing plenty of highlights of kind of these top tier organizations, the good teams that could be expected to be good, from the Dukes, the Kentuckys, the Miamis, the UConns. I'm curious in your opinion, JK. Give me a dark horse contender, a team that you think could win it all that we just maybe aren't talking about enough.
I've kind of been running with this on the J-Rock show. Let's bring it over to SimWorld today. I'm going with Wake Forest. I am very high on JC Graham, 6'6" combo guard, can kind of do everything for you on the offensive end. Him and Carter Fields have reportedly already been turning heads in Wake Forest practice, and Carter Fields is going to step in and make an impact day one for this squad. You have Luka Jesse, you have Jalen Spencer, you have a lot of size down in Winston-Salem. And in the ACC, where a lot of the attention is going to the Dukes, the Miamis, the North Carolinas, I think that Wake Forest is a team that is not getting anywhere near enough love that they deserve, and I would not be surprised if they made a genuine push for a star-studded ACC. I don't think they're going to win it, but I definitely think that they will be legitimate players in that conference.
Okay, that might be the best dark horse pick that you understood the assignment, because normally we put these questions out and people are like, dark horse, how about Houston? And it's like, okay, yeah, the team that won the American last year, that's super dark horse. Now you went Wake Forest, and I think I love this. I love everything about this. Good reasoning. Their team finished fourth in the ACC last season, 19-12. So it's not like you're saying, hey, I think Louisville, who won 6 games last season, is going to have this miraculous a 180-degree turnaround, more likely to be about 270, if anything. That is a fantastic pick, JK. I was not expecting you to go there. So well done. I'm going to go with my team that I've been hyping up for probably too long, but I'm going New Mexico. I don't love what I'm hearing out of UNLV that Jarrell Beauchamp has not been at practice. That makes me a little concerned. This is a team that I think, would be on many people's dark horse lists. Yes, New Mexico finished 25th in the country this year. Am I saying maybe that's not dark enough? Maybe. But this is a team in a mid-major that just got a heck of a lot better with the introduction of Gonzaga and St. Mary's. So that means New Mexico is going to have a stiffer form of competition to go through. I'm still exceptionally high on Ireland early. I love everything about what this team has brought in and what this conference just got a heck of a lot better with in the Mountain West. And I think it's a team that should be making the Hoopsteria. And again, whole point of this, dark horse. Do I think they're going to win? Like you said with Wake Forest, maybe not, probably not. Is their talent level as deep as a Duke, Miami, Oklahoma? No, certainly not. But this has the high level talent and big time contributors to make a decent enough run. All right, let's bring in our special guest of the morning, Mr. Cole Webb. Good morning, Cole. It's excited to have you on. Appreciate you taking some time out of your busy morning here to join us. How are you this morning?
Good, and thank you. Actually, thanking you. It's awesome to come on here.
All right, Cole. Look, from Australia, you've bounced around. You got your time in Los Angeles. Now you're in Virginia. Practice has begun. What's the mentality right now on your end as we sit 1 month out from opening night in SimWorld, and the expectations for yourself and the Cavaliers?
We're looking to really start off with a win. Everyone I've spoken to, the coaching staff, my teammates, just gelled so easily. So we're really looking confident going into the season. What's it called? I'm also looking at just trying to. They brought me in for one reason. That's to start bringing the offense in. I was sad hearing Tyson Simpson not stay with us, but we move on, and I can really see this team going all the way.
JK, you got a question?
Yes, I do. Cole, thanks for taking the time to do this with us. There have been reports out of Virginia's practice that you and Johnny Baldwin have been a very, very formidable duo. What are your expectations for you two as a duo, and how far do you think that'll end up taking Virginia this season, especially coming off of last year's down season?
Yeah, honestly, I've I've played with dominant bigs, with like Richard Hennessy, Brendan Romaine. It just suited so perfectly, me and Johnny, and I can honestly see us as a top 3 duo in the league. Honestly, in the ACC, I can't see much competition with us. Like, we're going to be going far.
Not much competition, Cole. I mean, that's a bold statement. You've got the defending champs, you've got Duke with the addition of Cooper Flag, but not much competition.
No, I'm just we're that confident. I've literally never played with this type of team, this type of mentality. Obviously, last year at Showtime, it was an amazing experience. It was learning. I learned a lot, and this year is just about performance now.
So you talked about playing with Johnny Baldwin in limited form and missing out on the chance for Tyson Simpson. How much is last season's kind of drama about Tyson Simpson and Johnny Baldwin's lack of playing time? Do you still kind of feel that hovering around the team?
I don't. Johnny just comes in with a positive energy. He's looking like confident going into the season. I spoke with Coach Bennett. He's confident in where we're going to be standing, our roles in the team. So really, I'm trying not to look back on it. It's not a big drama for me.
Cole, as a kid who grew up in Australia and is now going to be a key piece and a starter on one of SimWorld Youth's premier programs in a couple months from now, what does this opportunity mean to you, and how are you trying to make the most of it over the next 2 years?
Honestly, it's surreal. I never thought I would be able to come this far at one point, but now that I have, I just can't see myself not going further. I don't want to waste this opportunity, so I'm definitely going to be taking this 2 years minimum to really develop myself, perform, and really put on a showcase for why I'm one of the better players.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time this morning. Appreciate it. We're looking forward to seeing what Virginia has. A tough season last year for the program, so excited to see what you and the rest of this group can do to turn things around. So thanks again for joining us, and we
Thank
look forward to seeing you and hearing from you soon again.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, that is our show, JK. Appreciate you joining in, and thank you for your efforts at stepping into the host chair again during my absence. Happy to be back working with you here on this fabulous Thursday. We will be back tomorrow morning where we were going to recap the opening night of SimWorld FL, the Ravens and the Chiefs. We are finally back. Football is back. That is our show. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning here on SimWorld Today on SimWorld TV, the only place you can see the game. Be the game.
This has been a presentation of SimWorld Sports.